2. Medieval period, Wei, Jing, Southern and Northern dynasties, Sui and Tang, strictly following Western conservative, liberal framework. 2. 中古时期，魏晋南北朝隋唐，严格套用西方保守主义、自由主义体例。1. Mainstream conservatism, continuity and reconstruction of ritual, law, classical studies, clan and orthodox transmission. 1. 保守主义主流，礼法、经学、宗族、道统之延续与重建。1. Wei, Jing, Southern and Northern dynasties, preservation of conservative order in turbulent times. 1. 魏晋南北朝，乱世中保守秩序之维系。Representative classics family instructions of the Yan clan Yan Jitui collected commentaries. On the Zuo Zhuan Du Yu. Commentaries and sub-commentaries on the Book of Rites. Commentaries and sub-commentaries on the Rites of Zhou, transmission of classical learning. Official ritual texts of the Southern dynasty's representative figures. Yan Jitui, Du Yu, Fan Ning, Confucian scholars and officials of the Southern dynasty's core views. Taking clans, family, filial piety, and social status as the fundamental social foundation. Upholding the classical teachings of Zhou and Confucius, historical orthodoxy, and sovereign minister. Order, unshaken by chaos. 3. Emphasizing rule through ritual and law, education as foundation, self-cultivation and family regulation as priority. 4. Opposing nihilism, extravagance, contempt for moral teachings, rupture with tradition, and destruction of human relationships. Advocating preservation, gradualism, antiquity, history, and experience. Structurally isomorphic with Western conservatism. 2. Sui and Tang. Officialization, ritualization, and unification of conservative orthodoxy. 2. 隋唐，保守主义官方化、理智化、道统归一。Representative, classics. Correct. Meaning of the 5 classics 孔颖德. Kaiyuan Rites of the Great Tang, Tang Code with commentaries representative figures, 孔颖德, Yang Shigu, Han Yu, Liao core views. 1. Unifying classical learning, establishing orthodox transmission, returning to the true way of Zhou and Confucius, rejecting heterodox confusion. Integrating ritual and law, virtue as primary and punishment as auxiliary, incorporating ritual into law, constructing stable public order. 3. Institutionalizing and universalizing. Conservatism through imperial examinations, official schools, and ritual systems. 4. Valuing great unification, central order, historical continuity, and communal stability. 5. Criticizing Buddhism and Taoism for undermining human relationships and individual indulgence for dissolving order. Insisting that the orthodox transmission cannot be broken and human relationships cannot be abolished. Proto-liberal ideological trends, non-mainstream, non-systematic, non-modern. 2. 自由主义式思想萌芽，非主流，非体系，非现代。1. Weijing metaphysics and unrestrained trends. 1. 魏晋玄学与放达思潮 representative classics. 1b. Commentary on the Laozi, commentary on the Book of Changes. Jikang, on sound without sorrow or joy, on releasing the self. Ruanji, biography of the great man. Guoxiang, commentary on the Zhuangzi representative figures. Hiya, Wangbi, Jikang, Ruanji, Shangxiang Kuo, Guoxiang Kuo tendencies. 1. Advocating transcending moral teachings to follow nature, resisting external ritual coercion. Valuing individual temperament, spiritual autonomy, inner transcendence, belittling. Secular status and hierarchy. 3. Possessing individual consciousness of anti-authoritarianism, anti-dogma, self-emphasis, and free will. 4. Belonging to spiritual, aesthetic, and otherworldly freedom, not modern freedom of political rights, rule of law, or contract. 5. Always a marginal trend, not altering the mainstream conservative structure, nor forming a liberal tradition. 2. 隋唐禅宗与文人个体精神 representative classics. Platform Sutra of the Sixth Patriarch. Poems and essays of scholar officials. Representative figures. 慧能、神会、李白、柳宗元、刘禹锡等. Core tendencies. Chan Buddhism. Seeing into one's nature and attaining Buddhahood. self-liberation through one's own nature, no establishment of words, inner liberation. 2. Literati, valuing individuality, true feelings, independent will, spiritual freedom. 3. Bearing liberal features of anti-external authority and emphasis on inner autonomy. 4. Still belonging to spiritual, aesthetic, or religious freedom, lacking core modern liberal elements, such as natural rights, limited government, and value neutrality. 5. Non-mainstream, non-institutional, non-political, only cultural individual self-awareness, not forming a school or tradition. Songming to Ming, philosophization, systematization, and perfection of conservatism. 3. 宋明至明清，保守主义哲理化、体系化、极致化。 1. Songming Neo-Confucianism, the philosophical peak of conservatism. 1. 宋明理学，保守主义哲学高峰 representative classics. Commentaries on the 4 books, reflections on things at hand, instructions for practical living. Representative figures, Cheng Hao, Cheng Yi, Zhu Shi, Lu Juyuan, Wang Yangming. Core views: heavenly principle as ontology, mind nature as foundation, human relationships as order, preserving heavenly principle and extinguishing human desires, self-cultivation, family regulation, state governance, world peace, transmission of orthodox Tao, historical legitimacy. 2. Ming and Qing, institutionalization, secularization, and comprehensive coverage of conservatism. 2. 明清，保守主义制度化、世俗化、全面覆盖。Representative classics: Ming Code, Qing Code, official rituals, village, and clan compacts, imperial examination textbooks. Core features: ritual teachings penetrating folk society, perfected clan systems, isomorphism of family and state, historical worship, empiricism, anti-radicalism, emphasis on stability. 4. Complete history of Chinese liberalism, parallel structure with conservatism, restoring Yangzhu in depth, integrating the full continuity 4. 中国自由主义系统全史同保守主义体例，深度还原扬州，贯通全脉络。 1. Preaching: the origin of Chinese liberalism, the Yangzhou school, individual, oriented, valuing the self and life, anti-authoritarian, anti-sacrifice. 1. 先秦，中国自由主义本源，扬州学派个体本位，贵己重身，反权威，反牺牲。Representative figure: Yangzhou, early warring states, prominent school alongside Mozi. Representative classics: Yangzhou chapter in Lizi, fragments in Mencius, Shuangzi, Hanfeizi, Lushi Chengqiu core views. 1. I will not pluck out a single hair to benefit the world. 个体生命的完整性至高无上 opposing sacrifice of the slightest part of the individual in any name, world, state, ruler, morality, establishing the inviolable bottom line of individual sovereignty. R. Valuing the self, cherishing life, preserving nature. The value of life outweighs all political authority, ritual norms, and moral dogmas. Individual self-preservation and self-governance are primary. 3. If no one harms a single hair, and no one benefits the world will be well governed. Anarchy, non-interference, spontaneous order, social stability naturally arises from individuals observing boundaries, negating state intervention and collectivist domination. 4. Valuing life over external things, not allowing things to burden the body. Opposing fame, wealth, ritual shackles, and political oppression, safeguarding natural life and free will. 5. For the self but not selfish, defending individual dignity against collective coercion, life autonomy against political instrumentalization, the earliest and most thorough individualist declaration in Chinese thought. Historical position: the origin and peak of Chinese liberalism, standing alongside Confucian conservatism and Mohist altruism. Long suppressed for challenging patriarchal order and state authority, IT became an undercurrent. 2. Qinghan to Weijin, continuation of the liberal undercurrent, Taoist individual freedom and metaphysical rebellion. 2. 秦汉至魏晋，自由主义潜流延续，道家个体自由与玄学反叛。 1. Qin Han Taoism, inheriting Yang Ju, self-improvement, preserving life and avoiding harm. 1. 秦汉道家，程序杨朱，独善其身，全身必害。Representative classics, Laozi, Zhuangzi, Huainanzi. Representative figures, Laozi, Zhuangzi, early Han Huanglao scholars. Core views: 1. Governing through non-action, small state with few people, restricting state power, reducing intervention. In individual life, echoing Yangzu's non-interference. 2. Wandering freely, communicating alone with the spirit of heaven and earth. Absolute individual spiritual freedom, transcending secular ritual, fame, and hierarchy. 3. Preserving life and authenticity, not exchanging life for the world. Individual autonomy is higher than political order. The individual cannot be sacrificed by state, power, or ethics. 4. Waijin metaphysics, awakening of liberal spirit, transcending moral teachings to follow nature. 2. 魏晋玄学，自由主义精神觉醒，月明教人自然 representative. Figures: He-Yan, Wang Bi, Ji Gang, Ruan Ji, Xiang Xiu, Guo Xiang. Representative classics: Commentary on Laozi, Commentary on Zhuangzi, On Sound Without Sorrow or Joy, On Releasing the Self, Biography of the Great Man. Core views. E. Opposition between moral teachings and nature, criticizing hypocritical rituals, rigid ethics, and political oppression, advocating return to natural human nature and individual freedom. R. Following emotions and nature, defying authority, breaking ritual norms, pursuing emotional freedom, independent personality, and spiritual emancipation. 3. Self-transformation of all things, independent of externals. Individual self-sufficiency and autonomy, not defined by external authority, hierarchy, or order. 4. Condemning Tang, Wu, Zhou, and Confucius, transcending moral teachings to follow nature. Directly challenging the Confucian conservative orthodoxy, upholding individual value. Historical position: a conspicuous eruption of Yangzu's thought in the medieval period, forming the strongest trend of individual freedom in Chinese intellectual history. Still spiritual, non-institutional liberalism.